Welcome to Matters Financial and Geopolitical from a Frontier, and thank you for stopping by. I'm always grateful. I'm looking forward to hosting the CEO of Barclays, Jeremy Awori, at Mindspeak this Saturday. We're at the Intercontinental. Starts at, we serve breakfast from 9:30 in the morning. We start at 10. Jeremy's got a lot to talk about. Barclays in Africa, what's the way forward? They've been very innovative. They recently launched a Barclays Gold ETF. And last year I attended a Barclays Africa forum, and he described 2016 like this. This year will go down as a year we're unlikely to forget. So looking forward to hosting him tremendously. And of course he was my wingman when Boris Johnson was in town and I wanted a photograph. And Jeremy kindly came to the rescue. Those sorts of interventions are always remembered. This is what a sigh of relief looks like in the markets. This is the French elections. Take a look. Reuters, Jamie says, France relief rally overdone. Maybe, he says. CAC's best day in 5 years. Europe's best day since June. World stocks record high. Euro 1 month volatility record fall. On the opposite side of the world, watch this today. Shanghai Composite Index closed below its 200 moving day average on Monday. Last time that happened, it tanked 22% over the next 6 days. That is David Inglis. MSCI all country index is at a record high as well. So we've really seen a bigly rally across the markets. Home thoughts, back to Hunter S. Thompson. Life should not be a journey to the grave with the intention of arriving safely in a pretty and preserved body, but rather to skid in broadside in a cloud of smoke, thoroughly used up and totally worn out, loudly proclaiming, "Oh, what a ride." Hunter S. Thompson. I hate to advocate drugs, alcohol, violence, or insanity to anyone, but they've always worked for me. Another one of my favorites is The Edge. There is no honest way to explain it because the only people who really know where it is are the ones who have gone over. And like this as well, if you're going to be crazy, you have to get paid for it, or else you're going to be locked up. A man with his body covered with racist insults gives a flyer to a woman during an event to protest against racism. My favorite poem, or one of my favorites, is Ozymandias by PERCY SHELLEY. I met a traveller from an antique land who said, "Two vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert. Near them on the sand, half sunk, a shattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command tell that its sculptor well those passions read, which yet survive, stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked them and the heart that fed. And on the pedestal these words appear, my name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty and despair. Nothing beside remains round the decay of that colossal wreck. Boundless and bare, the lone and level sands stretch far away." Could be applied to many things and many people. Political reflections. Nuclear-powered USS Michigan is expected to arrive in South Korea on Tuesday amid increasing tensions on the peninsula. Of course, you will remember the world-famous quote, "We're sending an armada, very powerful. We have submarines, very powerful, far more powerful than the aircraft carrier, President Trump." On the 18th of April, I wrote a piece about this, and I said, other than both having tiny little hands and both possessing nuclear weapons, we are dealing with two principles whose very raison d'etre appears to be escalation. DPRK conducts massive firing drills on Army Anniversary Day. And in another photograph, Pyongyang parades new ICBMs and submarine-based missiles in founding leaders' honor. According to betting odds, Macron is almost 90% sure to be the next French president. That was the odds that Hillary was quoted at, for example. Transcript of AP interview with Trump. You've got to read this. It's transcript of an Oval Office interview Friday with President Trump by AP White House correspondent Julie Pace, where the audio recording of the interview is unclear. Ellipses or a notation that the recording was unintelligible are used. I do not want to talk to you about the 100 days. Trump, good. I want to ask you a few questions on some topics that are happening toward the end of the interview. Did you say Aya, who had been detained in the country for nearly 3 years? Can you tell me a little bit about how that came about? No, just, I asked the government to let her out. Obama worked on it for 3 years, got Zippo, 0. How did you hear about this story? Many people, human rights people, are talking about it. It's an incredible thing, especially when you meet her. You realize, she was in a rough place. Did you have to strike a deal with the Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi over this? No deal. He was here. I said I would really appreciate if it would look into this and let her out. And as you know, she went through a trial, and anyway she was let go. And not only she, it was a total of 8 people. Chancellor Merkel, and I guess somebody shouted out, shake her hand, but I never heard it. I'd already shaken her hand 4 times, because we were together for a long time. Did you expect you would have good chemistry with her? No, because I'm at odds, the NATO payments, and I'm at odds on immigration. We had unbelievable chemistry, and people are giving me credit for having great chemistry with all of the leaders, including el-Sisi. Pretty extraordinary stuff. Only in terms that will be a massive tax cut. It will be bigger, I believe, than any tax cut ever. Maybe the biggest tax cut we've ever had. Bigly. He didn't say bigly. I didn't. Venezuela death toll rises as unrest enters its 4th week. Let's move on to the currency markets where all kinds of things have been going on. Euro dollar pushing higher, 108.23. Dollar index below 99. I believe. Japanese yen, that's also softened quite dramatically, last trading 110.57. Swissy 0.9938. The pound last at 128.23. It's been stuck in this 127.50, 128.60 range for a few sessions of late, so we've got to keep an eye on that. Australian dollar, that's on a weak run, 0.7530. Indian rupee 64.445. South Korean won 11.2997. The Rial 312.51. Egyptian pound 18.1040. And the dollar rand 13.0697. I must say I got caught on the wrong side of that, but I've hung in there because I can't believe that this is the real value of the rand given the circumstances we've just been through. Dollar index, let me put up a 3-month chart. I spoke about this level of 99.50 being key. Now that we've thrust our way through it and we're deep below it, it actually makes it even more bearish than previously. Quants find the secret to divining the dollar's path in the VIX and iron ore. Who would have believed that? Euro dollar, we're now trading at 108.94. This is 2017 highs, November highs for the euro. Boom! Germany's DAX just hit a fresh lifetime high. This is yesterday's. Political risks have fallen following the French election. That's Holger. UK gilt yields rise as French election sparks risk rally. I still can't believe the interest rate the UK is able to borrow at on its 10-year gilt. Oil, it's going to be a 7-day losing streak. Earlier this morning we're at 49.54, but we've fallen through that. We're now trading at 49 and 15 cents, and I think we'll close below 49 today. Gold, this has been a little bit soft of late, 1268.15 trading last. I think everyone got humongously long at the top, and some of these folks are being squeezed out now. De Beers clears out diamond stock after India cash crisis. This might have been demand driven by people wanting to get rid of their cash, but I haven't looked into it deeply enough. Steel meltdown, Bloomberg Commodities, big sell-off. JAB puts Jimmy Choo and Bally up for sale to focus on coffee. There you go. Turkish stocks seemingly having a field day, moving higher, surged to an all-time high. This is interesting given the political backdrop. Let's move on to Africa. An interesting interview by Ade Adesina of the African Development Bank, warning that the US cuts risk stoking extremism. President Donald Trump risks stoking extremism in Africa and provoking a further exodus of migrants heading for Europe if he goes ahead with plans to cut funding to the continent, according to the head of the African Development Bank. Africa was facing a triangle of disaster in high youth unemployment, extreme poverty, and environmental degradation related to climate change. His warning comes after Mr. Trump proposed a budget last month that would slash foreign aid and cut the US contribution to the World Bank and other multilateral development banks like the AFDB by $650 million annually. The development agenda, he says, must not be myopic. We must therefore do everything to support Africa, to create more jobs. To do that requires a lot of financing. We need more resources to do more as a bank, he said. Everywhere you find the triangle of disaster, you always find terrorists, he said. Last week, the IMF reduced its growth projection for sub-Saharan Africa to 2.6% this year, although the figure is skewed by the poor performance of South Africa, which is a fact. Potential cut to US funding also comes at a time when some multilateral institutions, including the World Bank, are running up against capital limits and being forced to scale back lending. Adesina said multilateral development banks were needed more than ever. If you don't create jobs in Africa fast enough, then the whole terrorism thing that you see in Africa is just the tip of the iceberg. Look at all the young people heading for the Mediterranean Sea. The future of Africa doesn't lie on the bottom of the Mediterranean Sea. It lies in a more prosperous Africa. He's right. He also appealed to Mr. Trump's business instincts. The AFDB's work on infrastructure and other projects benefited US companies operating in Africa, he said. So, interesting times, and I wrote about this on the 16th of March when I said how Trump's foreign policy may impact Africa's economic position. So have a look at that. DR Congo's Kasai conflict, voodoo rebels take on Kabila. They might have a better chance than some of the opponents. Minister for the Media Lambert Mende addressed the press corps in Kinshasa yesterday. South African oil share up 4.48% so far this year. The rand yesterday morning touched 12.91 to the dollar, the local unit's best level since March 27, but we're back above 13 now. Dollar rand, I'll put up a chart. I'm a seller here. I think it's overdone. And then I was tongue-in-cheek quoting Ozymandias, look on my works, you mighty and despair, looking at the rand's rebound and saying this is something Gigaba at the National Treasury in South Africa might be taking with him into his meetings as he's out on his roadshow. Egyptian pound 18.1. Nigeria said to let market set Naira rate on exchange window. Nigeria's central bank will let the market determine the Naira's rate in a new foreign exchange window for portfolio investors as the nation struggles to revive its economy amid a dollar shortage. Naira forward contracts and banking stocks rose. Godwin Emefiele told senior bankers that he would tolerate the Naira weakening in the window, which started yesterday, according to a person who attended meetings with the policymaker over the past few weeks. While that may cause the currency to depreciate to its black market level, unlikely, the central bank probably won't devalue the interbank exchange rate, the person said. The Naira is traded at around 3.15 per dollar on the interbank or spot market since August. The black market rate plummeted to a record 5.20 against the dollar in February, but recovered to 3.90 after the central bank sold $3 billion to $4 billion worth on the forward and spot markets. Nigerian oil shares down 4.2% so far this year. Ghana Stock Exchange Composite Index up 11.26% so far this year. Zimbabwe's bond note surrogate currency will not solve its economic problems. Well, we all knew that, but this is the IMF. We think that going down this one bond note route in of itself will not address the challenges the country has. This is Selassie, head of Africa. So it's very important to have a more comprehensive policy package, which also addresses a lot of the fiscal challenges that the country faces. The central bank says so far it's printed $121 million in bond notes, but a high demand for cash has meant the surrogate currency is also in short supply. Kenya Wall Street Deacon share price is down by over 65% since being listed at the NSE. If you didn't get a chance to look at their full year earnings, the link is there as well. Kenya shilling, last time I looked, 103.28. Nairobi all share up 0.23% through 2017. NSE 20 down 1.35% through 2017. Let me go back to my favorite Hunter S. Thompson. He's good, isn't he? The edge, there is no honest way to explain it, because the only people who really know where it is are the ones who have gone over. Thank you kindly for stopping by. I'm always grateful.